Hey folks, this is Josh, Stoney Ridge Farmer. Welcome to the farm vlog today. Today we're going to be dragging some logs and brush. So the power company came through and they cleared a new area for a power line. I'll take you down, I'll show you all the brush. Hopefully we'll throw the drone up in the air if the wind stays calm enough, and we'll get you a grand overview of what's going on here. So I've got some big saw logs that we're going to be dragging out of the woods with a tractor, and I've got a bunch of just trees that are about this big around that really aren't good for anything other than firewood, and we'll burn the brush. So come along today on the farm vlog. This is what's going on today. We're going to take the John Deere 5065 and get down there and get to work. All right? Woo! So the first thing we got to do is start up the John Deere 5065. We're going to do a cold start. We're going to let it warm up to optimum running temperature before we get out here and start working the tractor. We also have the grapple attachment hooked up to the tractor too. Let's fire it up. Contact! Woohoo! She didn't like that one. Let's run them glow plugs a little bit more. Contact! There we go. Oh, smoky! Guys, tell me if you think that's normal for a new tractor to be smoking like that. We are at, how many hours here? 654 hours on this tractor. Whenever it's cold like this and I fire it up, it smokes like that. I know some of you guys know a lot about diesel engines. Tell me why it does that. So in the time it took me to run a few errands on the Gator, make sure everybody's fed and watered, the temperature dropped like 15 degrees and the wind picked up like 15 miles an hour. I'm gonna have to put a different hat on to keep my doggone head warm. Just got myself a haircut. So first thing we're gonna do is get up some brush that's been laying here in the yard for quite some time. We got the tractor up to the right running temperature. And then I'm gonna take you up and I'm gonna show you a cool trick for pulling a ground rod. So we move the goats around the farm all the time. They're constantly moving and we're constantly moving ground rods. I'll show you a quick, easy way to get them out with your tractor, and you don't have to have a lift on the front, but you do have to have a lift on the rear. You just back up to it and pull it right out. It's a pretty cool trick. Well, let's go ahead and grab up some of this brush. These are some logs that are left over from when we lost a big tree in the yard. I haven't used this grapple in a while. I'm getting used to it again. Hopefully, I'm getting used to it. There we go. Let's see if we can get this whole bunch in one grab. Sure would be nice. There we go. Revving her up. A lot of people think you got a grapple on your tractor and you can just pick up whatever. It's pretty tough to pick stuff up like this, especially large bunches of trees. So it's not just a given you can just pick it up. Take this wood up to my neighbor's house. He burns wood 24/7, 365 days a year. He has one of those outside boiler furnaces. Pretty cool. We'll probably use one of those when we build our permanent home here on the farm. But for now, we're living that trailer dream, baby. Make one more run like that. The grass and the land and the field is really, really soft, so probably can get away with one more run, and that's it. We'll bring it up here to the neighbor. He's got a dump truck, and he'll be bringing it down, and we'll be loading up all the firewood, so none of this wood you see is going to go to waste. I wish I had a chipper. If I had a chipper, we'd chip up all the brush, but instead we're going to burn it. But that goes back to the land too. This is about a 10-minute round trip to my neighbor's house carrying logs, and that is an old tobacco drying shack. Pretty cool. Now for the educational part of today's video. We got a ground rod driven in the ground, and basically when I move my goats around with this Premier One fencing, and I'll show you that fencing, it's this portable fence netting that I have the goats in. When I move them around, I'll drive a ground rod just like that, probably about, I don't know, 20 inches into the ground, and that provides enough ground for the solar fence charger to work. I've got a couple placed throughout the field right here, and I want to go ahead and get them out while it's on my mind before I accidentally hit them with the bush hog, because the grass will be every bit as tall as that ground rod later on in the spring. So let's get it out. I'll show you exactly what to do. So oftentimes you'll have a ground rod and it'll get mushroomed on the ends. If it's mushroomed on the end, you may have to do a little cut and cut it off right here. But basically I just take a link from the chain and I slide it right over top. Now I've got this pretty cool chain that I like to use. It's about 5 feet long and it has this big hook on it, so I can take the hook and I can hook it right over top of my bucket. So whether it's a bucket or whether it is your straight blade or whatever it is on the back of your tractor or the front of your tractor, this will work just fine. So we've got it hung up here and we want to pull straight up and out, or as straight up and out as we possibly can. So we'll slide a link right over top of the ground rod, just like so, just like that. And when you pull up on it, it locks it into place. Pretty nifty. It's locked on there good. Take my loader handle, pull straight up, and right out comes the ground rod. Pretty cool, works like a charm. Didn't hurt the ground rod one bit, and it came out really easy. Now if you do this with a rear implement on your tractor, expect to have to get a couple different bites on it. You want to get a bite down low, raise it up as far as you can, then get another bite, raise it up. You want to slide your chain down probably about a foot on your ground rod just to make sure it gets a good bite. Cool? Can't hardly see the ground rod here. We'll go ahead and do this one here also. Slide the link over, get it down there, just hang this up out of the way. We'll pull it out. Nice. Pretty simple, easy way to pull out ground rods. I hope you learned something. Dragging the gravel just a little bit. Anytime the tractor's in motion, you need to be thinking about work. That's what we're doing. I still have a lot of work to do. It's really wet down here. I'll show you. You can tell I'm kind of sinking up or miring up in the mud in a few places. I don't want to make a big mess while I'm doing this. I don't want to make my tractor real muddy or anything like that. It's a pain in the butt. You know, when you're a younger guy and you're out with your four-wheel drive truck and you're playing in the mud, it's all fun. But let me tell you what, when it's your equipment like this and you're getting it dirty for no reason, it really doesn't make any sense. So, and it's also tearing your fields up too. So what we're gonna do here is just keep on plugging away at this. I've got a few more minutes of sunlight. It gets dark so early. It's about 30 degrees here, and the humidity in North Carolina is what really kills you. The cold here is just different. So this is a pile of brush. We'll just keep plugging along, getting piles of brush up. I've still got some big logs over here across the road. We'll get those up. I'm starting a big pile of lumber, of logs to cut into lumber. And that's what's going on the farm today. It is cold. I am tired of bouncing on the tractor, but I'm having fun, enjoying life, enjoying the fresh air. Basically, the thought process here is to open this up just a little bit. I still want shade on the creek for all the critters in the creek, and I still want a root system around the creek to help filter the water. But what I really want to do is be able to sit on my front porch way over here and look out over the fields. And that would just be awesome to be able to watch the cows and the deer and everything like that. We're also going to be building a fence right straight down through here. We're trying to comply with the NRCS, the Natural Resource Conservation folks, so that we stay out of the creek with our cows. That's one of the main things here too. So I've got to get these trees that I want to get removed. I've got to get them cut now before we have a fence, and I can't cut them, or I have to cut them creatively and drop them away from the fence. So thanks a lot for joining me here on the farm vlog today. I hope you guys enjoyed this little trip. This is just what's going on today on the farm. I hope you learned a little bit about how to pull a ground rod, and we had a little bit of fun today. Be sure to pound that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share these videos with your friends. Share them on your Facebook if you can. We'll see you next time on the Stoney Ridge Farm. All right? Woo!
Land of the free.